Thank you all for joining us. Welcome to the Center for the Women of New York Career Workshop Series. We have Gail Lewis today presenting on soft skills, decision-making, leadership, problem-solving, and more. I'm so looking forward to hear the presentation. In case you're not familiar with the Center for the Women of New York helps women overcome financial violence, social wellness, and legal issues by raising awareness and advocating for full gender equality, understanding women's needs, and connecting them with CWNY services, nonprofit partner organizations, and public resources to aid, uplift, and address their challenges. We have 2 locations. You can see both of them here. Both of them are in Queens. One is in Bayside in Fort Totten Park, and the other one is at Queensboro Hall. Some of our current services and programs are referrals and advocate program. So if you don't know if we offer a service or program, please contact us, and if we don't have it, we'll guide you in the right direction. We have financial literacy workshop series every third Wednesday at 8 p.m. Virtually. We have these series of career workshops. We have 2 support groups. One is for women in crisis, and the other one is for caregivers, who are those of us who take care of aging family members or friends. We have a one-on-one tax preparation assistance program, which will start this Thursday on Queensboro Hall, and will alternate our location. So if you need your help with your taxes, we will help you with your return. You can go to our website and sign up for a slot. Slots are limited, so make sure that you get one before they're gone. We also offer gardening and sustainability workshops. Those are in person. Starting this month, starting last week, we went back to offering them weekly, and that is in our Fort Totten location. We have a beautiful garden, pollinated garden. We grew vegetables and harvested them. And it's such a good social experience for everyone, as we practice sustainable, tasks and work together. We have conversational ESL classes. We will start in person soon, so stay tuned. We have a legal support team which is via email. So if you have any procedural questions, you can send us an email and we will answer the email. We have yoga classes on Wednesdays at noon and Thursdays at 6 p.m. also in Fort Totten, Bayside. We have self-esteem workshops. That's once a month on a Tuesday at 7 p.m. Those are very popular. Everyone needs the self-esteem boosters to join us if you can. Those are in person as well. And we just started our Women's Issues Think Tank. I want to thank Victoria for starting that. It was a dream of our founder, and we finally started last month. We will have one on equity, on equal pay this month. So go to our website, sign up. It's also virtual. Join us for a conversation on equal pay. If you'd like to watch any of our past events that happen virtually, you can find them at cwny.org/past-events. If you have any questions, they will be addressed by Gail at the end of the presentation. You can use the chat box at the bottom of your Zoom screen, and we'll make sure that we answer them, or the Q&A, either way. If you dialed in, email your questions to events@cwny.org. Again, if you dialed in, your questions will be received. Thank you, Lana, our amazing volunteer, who will be checking our email. The email again is events@cwny.org. Again, I want to welcome Gail. Thank you so much for being here. We're so lucky to have you sharing such important topic today. I will turn it over to you. The floor is all yours, and feel free to share your screen now.
Thank you, Cecilia, and thank you everyone for attending today's workshop. I see that there's quite a few people still logging on. Excuse me, so welcome one and all. I am Professor Gail Lewis, and I'm a professor of communication and English at CUNY. And I'm so excited today to present this workshop on soft skills. Today, we're going to get into exactly what soft skills are and their importance, and also how to improve our soft skills. So thank you again to the Center for the Women of New York for this opportunity, and let's get into it. So we're going to start with a simple question. Who gets hired and who keeps the job? People who get hired are people with excellent credentials, people with experience in the field or a stellar education or training. Additionally, people who get hired are people who perform. They perform well on the job. They bring in revenue and money. They're helpful to clients and they excel in performance. But who keeps the job? People with good soft skills. So that's what we're talking about today, keeping the job and soft skills. So let's start by defining hard skills. We hear a lot about hard skills and soft skills, so let's start with the hardest ones first. Hard skills are simply the skills that are required to do the job, the training, the education needed to do the tasks on your job site. These are the hard skills required for employment in any workplace, including job-specific, teachable, tangible skills. So for example, being able to use technology, that's a hard skill. Proficiency with QuickBooks or maybe Excel, those are actual hard skills that you can train for and learn. Certifications or licenses like a CNA, a certified nursing assistant, that's a skill, a hard skill. Task-specific knowledge, like using a cash register or a particular type of machinery. And of course, data analysis in Excel. Let's say that you're a legal secretary, knowing how to fill out the forms and where to file them and when to file them. All of these are hard skills, skills that you can learn on the job or be trained in. So that begs the question, what are the soft skills? Well, soft skills are the personal attributes linked to how we work and interact with other people on our job sites. Soft skills make it easier to form relationships at work with other people. It makes you easier to get along with at work, so it makes doing the work more efficient and a lot easier. Regardless of where anyone works or what job we may have, we all need some soft skills. So for many people, soft skills are even more challenging, are even more challenging to develop than our hard skills. That's how important they are and how challenging it can be to develop. According to LinkedIn Learning, 57% of senior leaders said that soft skills are more important than technical skills. So in short, hard skills are the skills that get you the job. Soft skills are the skills that help you keep the job. So you see how important they are. So let's dive a little bit deeper into soft skills. Today, we're going to examine soft skills by looking at exactly what they are, looking at the different types of soft skills, and then lastly, looking at action steps that we can each take to improve our soft skills. So let's get into it. Soft skills defined. What exactly are they? Well, soft skills are the non-technical skills, like we mentioned before, that describe how you work and interact with other people at work. Soft skills reflect how you communicate, your work ethic, and your work style. So think about your workplace or a previous workplace, or maybe your ideal workplace. How do you want to interact with other people on your job? How do you see your communication style? Are you easy to approach with an issue, or are you a little bit more standoffish and apart from everyone else? Do you have a really good work ethic where you go to work every day regardless? Or do you call in sick at least twice a week? And what kind of work style do you have? Are you the type of person who just digs into a task and gets it done? Or are you someone who takes more of a slower, measured pace? All of these equal your work style and speak to your soft skills. So today, let's dig in and look at the 4 most important soft skills and look at how we can improve our soft skills. So today we're going to look at the following soft skills. First, enthusiasm and attitude. Second, teamwork. Third, problem solving and critical thinking. And lastly, listening. Here's a caveat about listening. Listening is such an important soft skill that we're only going to touch on it today. 1 month from today, on April 4th, we're going to have another workshop that is dedicated just to listening. So we'll just take a little look at it today, but come back in a month on April 4th. It's the first Tuesday of April for an entire workshop dedicated just to listening. If you're not watching us live right now and you're watching this as a video on YouTube, you can go back to our YouTube channel at Center for Women of New York, and you can look up the separate video on listening there. So whether you're watching live or you're watching us on YouTube, it's available for you. So let's get into the first most important soft skill, and that's enthusiasm and attitude. So what exactly do we mean when we say enthusiasm and attitude? I'm glad you asked. At work, you want to demonstrate enthusiasm. Now, let me stop right there. A lot of people, myself included, sometimes equate enthusiasm with smiling a lot. It absolutely is not. If you sat at work all day with a big smile on your face, I'm sure your coworkers would think, who knows what about you, but they might think that you were a little bit fake because no one is happy all the time. And that's not what we're talking about here. Enthusiasm is being excited or welcoming for the job at hand. It doesn't mean having a big smile on your face all day long. No one could do that. Well, maybe if you worked at Disney, but no one else could do that. So enthusiasm is being open to the challenges and the rewards of your job. Because as far as enthusiasm and attitude goes, it's so much easier to work with someone who completes the tasks in an upbeat and cooperative way. So at work, we want to demonstrate a positive attitude and an eagerness to tackle the job instead of being negative or disinterested. So we all want to complain, but complaining all the time decreases enthusiasm and it negates attitude. So you want to think about that when you're on the job site and have a positive attitude toward the work. Again, not smiling all the time, but just looking at the job at hand with an eagerness to tackle it. So how exactly can we demonstrate enthusiasm and a positive attitude? First, remember your nonverbals. Nonverbal communication is what we do with our bodies. A lot of times when people approach us, they see our bodies first before we even say a word. So our nonverbal communication, that's the way we're sitting, how we're holding our head or our hands, speaks way before we open our mouths. So at work, to show a positive attitude and to show enthusiasm, remember to sit up straight. That alone makes you seem enthusiastic and engaged with whatever work task you're doing. Additionally, make eye contact with your coworkers, with clients, with customers, with whomever is in front of you. And when appropriate, smile. Again, you don't have to have a smile plastered on your face at all times, but when appropriate, feel free to smile. In addition to nonverbals, another way that we show enthusiasm and a positive attitude at the workplace is through our attitude. Discuss tasks, the things that you have to do at work, in an upbeat manner. Instead of always thinking to yourself about the negative things, maybe that might happen on the job. Respond to constructive criticism with maturity and a willingness to improve. I know no one wants to hear criticism, but part of becoming better at any job is receiving criticism in a constructive way and learning from it. Think about all of the tasks that you've learned throughout your lives. No one was born a good parent. We all had to learn parenting basically on the job. And we learned through constructive criticism with maturity and a willingness to improve. And think about any task, whether it was roller skating or parenting or something that you learn on the job. Having maturity when you're receiving any kind of criticism or feedback and having a willingness to improve shows and displays a great attitude, a positive attitude in the workplace. So keep that in your mind. And then lastly, another way to demonstrate enthusiasm and a positive attitude when you're on your job site is through your actions. Arrive to work on time. If you're always chronically late, it shows, it projects to your bosses and to your coworkers that you're not enthusiastic about your job. So make a pointed, concerted effort to get to work on time regularly. Also, show interest in your job. If there's some job retraining that you can attend, go. That shows that you're interested in bettering your performance. If your boss asks you to do something extra at work, show an interest in it. Maybe there's a new protocol at work, or maybe there's a new cash register or a new program of some sort that you need to be trained on. Make sure that you show interest in learning these new things. Also, as far as actions go to show enthusiasm and a positive attitude at work, you want to demonstrate a willingness to learn, listen, and try new things. Like I said before, sign up for that extra training program. Also, if you're dealing with customers, it's so important to approach them proactively. So if you see that something is about to go wrong with a customer's account, or something that a customer is doing is going to lead them astray, take a proactive approach and reach out to the customer so that you can make sure that catastrophe does not strike, or you can at least make sure to mitigate any bad circumstance. Lastly, when there's a little bit of extra time at work, seek out tasks and projects that might have to be done when there's some downtime. Maybe even have a conversation with your boss about taking on a different task or a new task, something that you've never done before. All of that shows that you're enthusiastic about your job and that you have a positive attitude toward your workplace. So to recap one more time, enthusiasm and a positive attitude can be demonstrated through your nonverbals, your attitude, and most importantly, your actions. Now that we've looked at enthusiasm and positive attitudes, let's take a look at the second point, and that's teamwork. I'm sure you've probably seen that slogan or logo, teamwork makes the dream work. Well, it's true. Teamwork, defined, involves building relationships and working with other people. Teamwork means doing your job as part of a team, not on your own, but instead collaborating with the people around you to get the work done. Through that collaboration, you want to build good relationships and work well with others. So how do you do that? There are some teamwork building skills that you can work on and learn. So here are your action steps. First, plan ahead. Second, work cooperatively. And lastly, think before you speak. First, team members in the workplace should plan ahead. It's very, very frustrating to be part of a team where your team leader or the other members of your team are always scrambling at the last minute to get a task done. Good time management and good planning skills as a team helps the team work more efficiently and creates a good teamwork environment. So in the workplace, when you're working as a team, plan ahead. Especially if there are repetitive projects that always come up, make sure that you're planning for those projects. Second, team members should work cooperatively in assigning tasks, assessing progress, and of course, deliver on time. A team that does not work in cooperation with each other is a team that has a higher probability to fail. It's hard to assess your project. It's really challenging to deliver on time when your team is not cooperating with each other. Put the task first and maybe your feelings, your personal feelings second, so that you can come together and cooperatively work as a team to get the job done on time. Lastly, think about the way that you speak. Team members have professional discussions during which differing approaches and differing opinions might be shared and assessed in a respectful manner. No one likes to be spoken to in a disrespectful way. So when you are communicating at work, when you're speaking to your coworkers, remember to keep your discussions professional. Different people have different opinions. Different people have different approaches to problems and solutions. So be open to different opinions and be open to different approaches. It doesn't mean that something is wrong or right. It might just be different from the way you might do something. And have professional discussions in a respectful manner where you can discuss the differing approaches that your team might have and come to a consensus on how to get the task done. Remember, professional communication at work without name calling or making things personal is a way to build solid teamwork skills. So we've just discussed our team working skills and our action steps: planning ahead, working cooperatively, and having professional discussions in a respectful manner. Now that we've looked at building teamwork skills, let's move on to our third soft skill, and that is problem solving and critical thinking. When I think about problem solving and critical thinking, the first thing that comes to my mind are those standardized tests that we used to take in grammar school. They had an entire section on problem solving and critical thinking. And I can always remember sitting in grammar school thinking, what is critical thinking and how do I do it? Well, it turns out that problem solving skills and critical thinking skills are those soft skills that will help you excel in the workplace. So let's get into them. Problem solving and critical thinking skills are the ability to use knowledge, facts, and data to effectively solve problems. We all come across knowledge every day and facts and data using the things that we've learned either on the job or in our work experience to solve problems critically is our good problem solving skills. Being able to look at data or whatever is presented to you and use it to effectively solve the problems that you might have in the workplace is a very important soft skill. So, how do we improve our critical thinking and problem solving skills? There are actions we can take. First, work through problems on your own or as an effective member of a team. Use prior experience, knowledge, and research. A lot of times, especially as women, we tend to discount or even disregard our prior experience. I know personally, I would do that, where I would say, oh, I was just a waitress, or I was only whatever my job was. How could that possibly set me up for this next job that I'm that I'm applying to? How do those things even correlate? How could one thing even lead to another thing? I'm here to tell you, don't discount your prior experience or your prior knowledge. Whatever your job was before, you can use those skills and transfer them into your new job. So let's say you were a waitress and you worked as a waitress for many years, and now you're looking for a job in data entry. You might think to yourself, how would my prior experience as a waitress possibly help me in this new job in an office? Well, as a waitress, you have to remember a lot of things. People are pulling at you from every point, and you've got to really be organized in your delivery of food and also organized in your thinking. You have to know what comes first and what logically comes second, third, etc. Those are specific transferable skills that can help you in any office situation, no matter what you're doing, whether it be a data entry job or a legal secretary or an accountant or anything in between. Don't ever discount your prior experience and your problem-solving skills. Whatever you learned on those previous jobs that you might have had, you can put and transfer those skills into your current or into your future employment. So when you're on your job site and you're working through problems, use those problem-solving skills that you had from previous employment. Transfer those skills into the employment that you have now. Don't discount your experience, your knowledge, and maybe research you've done before in working through those problems. Think about those situations and apply that knowledge to your new situation. Apply those skills, transfer them into this new job. Additionally, think critically and creatively. Share your thoughts and opinions and use good judgment. These are all effective problem-solving and critical thinking skills. Think creatively. Sometimes when we're working as a team or by ourselves at work, we forget how to think creatively. You see this especially when someone is newly hired into a workplace. They have a lot of questions, which is a really good thing. But also, those new eyes in a workplace see things a lot differently than the people who have been working there for a very long time. They may notice, hey, you do things A, B, C. Maybe it might make a little bit more sense if we do things A, C, B. Use those fresh eyes, that creative thinking to get the job done, that critical creative thinking that you might have when you are newly hired. Use those creative skills, even as someone who has been a long-term employee. And then lastly, as far as problem solving and creative and critical thinking skills, ask questions. I struggle with this as a female, as a woman. Sometimes I feel as if my questions might not make sense, or they might be dumb or silly in some way. But I'm here to tell you that's not true. Asking questions shows that you are engaged in your job. It shows that you're engaged at the task at hand and that you want further clarification, that you are committed to doing a good job and you want to know as much as you can about that job so that you can do it well. So don't hesitate to ask questions. So what if you have a boss? This might be a challenge. What if you have a manager or a boss or someone who's overseeing your work and they are not open to questions? Sometimes this happens. If your direct supervisor is not someone who is open to questions, then use another soft skill, networking, to find someone in your division who might be able to serve as a mentor who can answer some of the questions that you have. So even if your direct supervisor is not open to answering questions, don't let that stop you from asking them. Instead, find a mentor, someone else in your department who is knowledgeable, who can answer those questions that you have. Don't stop asking questions because someone doesn't want to ask them. Just find a different place to direct your questions. Someone who is knowledgeable, who can serve as that mentor role to help you out in these critical thinking situations. So don't be afraid and don't be hesitant to ask the questions that you might have. So to recap, with problem solving and critical thinking skills, there's certain actions that you can take. You can work through your problems on your own or as an effective team member, using your prior experience, either on your present or past job sites, your knowledge, and also research. Additionally, don't be afraid to think creatively when solving problems at work. Share your thoughts and opinions with your team members and your immediate supervisor, and use your good judgment. And lastly, as far as problem solving and critical thinking goes, ask questions. Ask questions of your immediate supervisor, of your coworkers, of people who have knowledge of the task and can help you. It shows your engagement and it shows your passion for what you're doing. So that's problem solving and critical thinking, another important soft skill. The fourth soft skill we'd like to attack today is listening. Listening is such an incredibly important soft skill. So I know that you might be thinking, what is listening and what is hearing? Are they the same thing? Well, hearing is the actual act of the sound waves hitting your ears. That's hearing. You hear sound. Listening is a little bit different. Listening is critically paying attention to what is being said. Listening is giving attention to a sound or an action. A sound or an action. When we are critically listening, we hear what other people are saying and we try to understand exactly what it means. Listening, or poor listening skills, I should say, can lead to a lot of miscommunication at work. Think about just the most simple example that you can think of. If you were a nurse and you weren't listening to instructions, your patient's life could be in jeopardy. Maybe you misheard the orders, or you weren't listening to the orders that were given to you, and you mishandled a patient in some way. That could be a catastrophe for the patient and also for your career. So listening at work is paramount. It is so incredibly important, not only in medical situations, but in whatever work situation you find yourself in. So we want to hear what other people are saying, and with listening, we want to understand what it means. When we listen, we want to listen to understand, not listen to respond. These are two different things. So first, what we want to do in the workplace and even in our personal relations is listen, receive messages so that we can understand them. Maybe we can understand what tasks we have to do that day, what our boss is telling us to do, or maybe we can understand exactly what a customer is asking us to do, or maybe we're listening to understand what a client needs from us. But in all of these situations, we're listening to understand what is said so that we can take an action. That's a little bit different from listening to respond. Listening to respond is kind of like when you put up an invisible wall between you and the person who's speaking to you. So instead of receiving the entire message, like we do when we listen to understand, we listen to only a bit of the message when we're listening to respond, and then kind of put up a wall while we think of our response. So it's a lot better at work and also in your personal lives to listen, receive the message, and understand it, and then respond, instead of listening only to form a response. It makes listening a whole lot better, and it makes for a lot more seamless communication. So like I said, listening is so incredibly important that we are going to dedicate the next entire workshop just to listening. So if you're watching me live right now, mark your calendar for the CWNY listening workshop on April 4th on Zoom. And it will be an entire hour dedicated just to effective listening skills at work and how to improve your listening skills. If you're watching this on a video, you can always go to the Center for the Women of New York's YouTube channel, and you can watch the listening video there. And they can be found on YouTube at CWNY. So whether you're watching live or you're watching a repeat, you can always go there and find the listening workshop that will take place on April 4th on Zoom, and sign up now for that listening workshop. You will enjoy it, I'm sure. So that is our fourth soft skill, listening. So a little bit of a recap of the 4 different soft skills that we talked about today. The 4 most important soft skills in the workplace are enthusiasm and attitude, teamwork, problem solving and critical thinking, and listening. So enthusiasm and attitude, how you approach the work and how available you are for others to approach you. Remember, you don't have to smile all the time. You just have to be open and willing to the tasks that are required of you on your work site. Second, teamwork, the ability to get along with other people at work, come together as a team to get tasks done efficiently. Remember to work well as a team. Don't disparage your coworkers and be open to new ways of doing things. Third, problem solving and critical thinking. Use your prior experience, your prior research, and use questions and answers to problem solve and critically think. And lastly, listening. Listen with an open mind so that you're open to new ideas. Also remember to listen to receive the message and not listen to respond. Listen to understand so that you can understand what is being said and what's being asked of you so that you can do the tasks and get them done efficiently and effectively. And remember that listening workshop is April 4th. Remember that soft skills help you keep your job and soft skills help you get promoted. Hard skills help you get the job. Soft skills keep you employed and get you promoted. So they're so incredibly important in the workplace. So I have some homework for you. Keep in touch, please. If you have any questions about anything that we've discussed today, you can always reach out to me. My email address is glewis@qcc.cuny.edu. Also, a shameless plug for Toastmasters. Both Victoria and I are Toastmasters, and I know you're probably wondering what that is. Toastmasters is an international, not-for-profit public speaking and leadership club. And it's a club that you can find a chapter in almost every neighborhood over the country. So if you'd like more information about the public speaking and leadership workshop and leadership not-for-profit Toastmasters, you can go to toastmasters.org to find a local club near you. Like I said, there are thousands of clubs all over the world. So if you'd like to learn more about leadership and public speaking, you can go there for additional help. Also, I'll see you on April 4th right here for the listening workshop. Be sure that you register at CWNY.org/career-series. I'd like to open up to questions right now. Let's see if we have any. None so far, but I would like to thank the Center for the Women of New York for this incredible opportunity and platform and to be of service. So thank you so much. And thank you for all of the great work. If you missed the very beginning of this program, Cecilia went through some of the many necessary and varied programs that CWNY has for everyone in the community. So check that out also at CWNY.org. Thanks, Cecilia. I see a raised hand.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Gail. We'll go to that question. Let me see who's asking.
Doris Bodine, did you have a question?
Let me unmute her. Do you have, where's Doris? I don't see the hands for some reason.
I guess it went down.
There, Doris, you're welcome to talk. I think you should be able to talk right now.
Unmuted. Okay. First, I wanted to say this was a masterclass in communication. Thank you very much, Gail. That was very interesting. And even though I'm not in the workplace, we can all use soft skills when we deal with other human beings. You know, whether it's, but there are instances where the hard skills really matter. For instance, if you need surgery You know, people always talk about doctors' bedside manner. Some of the top surgeons that people seek out, you know, for life-saving surgery have a terrible bedside manner.
Yeah.
They've got the tech, they've got the hard skills. I mean, I'd rather have a doctor with the hard skills than somebody who's smiling and then messes up and leaves a sponge in there, or, you know, takes out the wrong organ. There's sometimes when I feel like the hard skills really matter. Like you said, when you get a job, it's the hard skills that get you hired. It's the soft skills that keep you there, and to smile and to be pleasant. But in certain fields like technology, you could be smiling all you want, but if the system is down, nobody's smiling. And it's the hard skills. I mean, I've worked with technologists that were absolutely brilliant, but they had no soft skills. But you went to those people when the server caught fire. That's who you went to. There are just certain instances where I just felt that the hard skills were really important. And then there's another issue. What about neurodivergent people in the workplace? You see a lot of programs where they're hiring neurodivergent people, because a lot of people with autism, they may not communicate well, but there's certain tasks that are very detailed that they're very well suited to.
Absolutely. I think it's all about, I'm sorry, Doris, I think it's all about finding the right fit, right, for your skill set in the workplace. So whatever your skill set is, just finding that niche for you. And as far as the soft skills with a surgeon, you can teach her soft skills as long as she's got those surgical skills. She can always attend one of our classes and get the soft skills that she lacks. Absolutely. So thanks for chiming in, Doris. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Very enjoyable.
If I may, Doris, like I used to be a Spanish interpreter in several hospitals, and I've seen more than one, a few mistakes when including surgery, because of the lack of soft skills, because of the lack of communication skills with the patients, and in some cases the family of the patients, because it was pediatrics. So it's soft skills are important, and I don't disagree with you. I want a surgeon that has hard skills. But I just thought that I would comment on that. It is it affects your work so much if you're lacking them, and if you have them, like to make them to make your work great. I think we have a couple more questions in the Q&A section. So
Yes.
it says, do you have it? Do you want me to read it for you?
You touched on networking and mentoring, very important in the workplace, and hopefully we can do some workshops on those as well. So keep stay tuned, but definitely come next month to listening skills, and we can always look at networking and mentoring as another workshop as well. And thank you, anonymous attendee, as well, for your kind words.
Great. We have one more here. Enjoy your presentation, very articulate, clear, and easy to understand. Your Toastmasters background shines through beautifully. I agree with you. You are amazing, Gail.
Thank you, everyone. I appreciate it. And remember, if you have additional questions, please feel free to email me with any questions that you might have. All right. And who knows, we might do some a networking class as well.
That would be great. We'll work on that. Another comment about a master's class in communication. Thank you, Gail. We do have someone who just raised her hand, and I will allow you to talk, Aletta.
Thank you so much. Gail, what do you mean by the word critical when you say critical thinking? Critical is a multi-meaning word, and I just want clarification on what you say.
That's a great question. Thank you. I think when a lot of us hear the word critical, we think of being critical, like someone telling you that you're doing something wrong as being critical to you. That's not what we're talking about when we say critical thinking skills. Critical thinking skills are being able to assess what's going on and being able to figure out the best ways to attack a problem or an issue. So that's thinking critically, not being critical, two different things.
Okay, thank you.
You're very welcome. Thanks, Aletta.
Right. We have any more questions? Well, I want to thank Gail again and everyone who attended today. You know, I'm sure we all learned very important information. Again, this is the second Tuesday of every month. I get lost with all the programs, but you know, stay tuned. Listening skills next month. I already mentioned the programs that we have. If you would like to become a member, if you would like to volunteer for the center, we also welcome you. I'll show you our email address in a second. You can also donate if you're not interested in becoming a member, but you feel generous and donate to help us sustain these programs and have new ones. We're working on new programs. Some of them are for parents, like support groups for parents, as well as workshop series for parents on different topics. Here is our contact information. You can also follow us on social media. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We have a YouTube channel. You can watch our past events there. We'll have this one very soon uploaded. We have a podcast, which we will restart. We have a few episodes and we will restart soon. We have everything on our website, programs, registration. So you can go to CWNY.org and you'll find our events there. Or you have to go to programs and services. All right. If no one has any other questions, I'll stop sharing. Thank you again, Gail. Thank you, Victoria. Victoria, do you have anything?
I would just like to say, I am so looking forward to learning about listening skills because my biggest takeaway today was listen to understand, not to respond. We're so busy thinking about our response, we're not paying attention.
It is so true.
So I am going to memorize that and really try my best to be a better listener before I join your next workshop. So thank you, Gail. And also the difference between soft skills and hard skills, you made it so clear for all of us. And although some employers may not even know what soft skills mean, they do look for them. And they do look for them between the lines on resumes. So do sharpen your resumes to include soft skills.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I also
takeaway.
want absolutely. I also want to share that we did a resume writing a workshop that you can find on our website. So if you're looking for a job, if you want to update your resume, thinking on your soft skills and maybe change a word or two there, you know, they can be conveyed. Not as much as when you have an interview, but I loved that workshop as well. And it's great tips in terms of like the words that you choose. So go look for it or email us and we can send you a link to the recording.